This morning, we'll start with a daily trust. Right in front, contractors protest at National Assembly for second day. Continuation is on page 3, 4 and 5. At the top left, National Assembly okays 14-year jail term for sexual harassment in schools. That's on page 6 of the Daily Trust newspaper. Ex-NSA Abdullahi Muhammad dies at 86. That's on page 21 if you want more details. Cholera kills 10 in Adamawa local government. That's on page 21 of the Daily Trust. At the bottom, we have Nigeria rejects country of particular concern designation. That's on page 6 of the Daily Trust. 2 children die after falling into wells. That's on page 24 on the Daily Trust. And next up, we have Kakistocrats running in Nigeria. It says Ndumi, that's on page 11 of the Daily Trust. Federal government mulls sale of refineries. That is on page 19 of the Daily Trust newspaper. That's all we have on Daily Trust. Make sure you grab yourself a copy and stay informed.
Next off, the Guardian newspaper.
And the headline, Trump's threat sparks investor fears as economists splits on impact. And that's on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper if you want more on that story. And ADC slams Tinubu over Trump's military threat, rising insecurity. And that's on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper. PDP, police shot Wadata Plaza Legacy House as Mohammed assumes office. And that's on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper. Togo, Niger, Benin owes Nigeria $20 million for electricity supplied in 6 months. And that's on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper. The federal government unveils 50 tax exemptions, reliefs to cushion new fiscal reforms impact, and that's on page 19 of the Guardian newspaper. A report blames government officials for 74% attacks on journalists, and that's on page 7 of the Guardian newspaper. Resident doctors kick as federal government claims payment of 31 billion naira arrears, and that's on page 4 of the Guardian newspaper if you want to read more on that story. And then also we have shake-up in Navy as Abbas redeploys 65 rear admirals, and that's on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper. Damagun camps tax defectors, betrayers as Shetima welcomes Diri to APC, and that's on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. And lastly, Group hails court order on proposed PDP convention, and that's on page 4 of the Guardian newspaper. If you want more, you can grab yourself a copy to stay informed. And joining us this morning to review the front pages of our national dailies is former Director News Voice of Nigeria, Ben Shamang. Good morning, and thank you for joining us this morning.
Good morning, Mr. Ben Shamang.
Hello, Mr. Ben, are you there?
Do we have Mr. Ben Shamang on here? All right, while we wait for our reviewer, there's a lot happening in the news this morning. We just conversed with the president of the All Indigenous Contractors Association of Nigeria. We've seen we had a protest yesterday, and it hopefully would bring some positive, feedback for them when it comes to continuing their contracts, which is important because these are infrastructures in the country. When it's halted, it stops work, it stops progress, and we don't finish projects and continue to the next one as well. At the top, we've seen at the National Assembly okays 14-year. We discussed that as well, and how it is quite important to hold perpetrators accountable for their actions. And we have cholera kills 10 in Adamawa State. At a point, a lot would ask, how do we still have cholera devastating us in Nigeria, taking a lot of lives? And it is quite important to understand that it is important to be very clean. Cleanliness would help in making sure that these diseases are kept at bay. But then I believe, due to the fact that during the rainy season, even though it still is in some parts, there were floods and contamination of water as well. All right. We have our reviewer back with us. Good morning, Mr. Ben Shamang.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for being here. All right, let us look at what we have on a Daily Trust right in front. Contractors protest at National Assembly for second day. What is your take on this?
Honestly, I barely can hear you. Maybe there's a button there that is not on. But if you can hear me, then I continue.
All right, we can hear you. Can you hear us now?
Okay, yes, I can hear you.
All right, I said let's look at the Daily Trust right in front. We have contractors protest at National Assembly for second day. What are your thoughts on it?
Yes, I actually met some of these contractors who have been protesting there. Their leader is Jackson Wosu, and I also met Ike Ephraim. These are engineers, contractors too, and they tell you that look, they borrowed money, so huge sums at the rate of 10% interest rate, and for government to pay is an issue. They collected loans, some of them mortgaged their houses, other property landed and movable, and today they are under threat of those properties being seized. Many contractors are dead, and it is not as if they have not delivered on the on side of the contract. Some did roads for NDDC, some did renovation of federal schools, hospitals, they did supply of equipment and all that stuff. And these are equipment or items already in use, but today government is not paying them. And when you also look at the rate at which government pays even capital project, it's so abysmal. Some say it's around 25% when you're talking about capital project. But when it comes to salaries, recurring expenditure, it's around 45%. So what happens to the rest? And today you are also talking about running two budgets. 2024 budget is still being run up to December this year, while also still running this year's budget. So two budgets at the same time being run, yet we still cannot get it right when it comes to paying local contractors. And that's why they are lamenting that big contractors abroad, they rather get paid 80% compared with local contractors that will wait and wait and wait and wait.
All right, Mr. Ben, let's take a look at this headline. National Assembly proposes 14-year jail term for sexual harassment of students. According to a report, the Assembly has approved a maximum sentence of 14 years and a minimum of 5 years imprisonment without the option of fine for lecturers and others convicted for sexually harassing students in educational institutions across the country. We'd love to hear your take on this.
Yeah, you see, it's really not just about lecturers. It should be all-encompassing. Situations where pupils or students are being abused by their lecturers, those who are supposed to be their guardians and parents, are the ones abusing these children. I was seeing a post last week of a small girl who is also mentally retarded, being abused, and her photographs was the one circulated here and there. People are trying to call sympathy for her. But the question I asked was, where is the perpetrator? Because a situation where the one that is the victim is the one being carried in the media, it increases the trauma for the parents, the trauma for the victim, and the trauma for even society. Why will you mention her name, mention her house, where she's from, when the perpetrator is being shielded? And that's also where the social media, social responsibility of the media will come on board. And today, people also tell you when it comes to the fight against AIDS or HIV, they said fight the virus and not the victim. So why are we portraying this small girl? You carry her up, people are just sharing her photograph as a victim of rape and all that stuff. Where is the rapist? We ought to see the photograph of the rapist being circulated so that people will take precaution. So I think NBC and the Nigerian Press Council should also look at this. And thank God the bill or the law that will take care of this kind of information spreading is on ground, so that some people are actually being taken care of. For the National Assembly to now say, okay, they are prescribing this is good a thing. It's very, very good and commendable.
All right. Let us look at health matters. Cholera kills 10 in Adamawa local government area, and we've seen several other places that have, been plagued by cholera. What is your take on this?
Cholera is one of the diseases that could be controlled if the situation is healthy enough. How healthy are environments? How tidy are they? Our houses, gutters here and there, you know, look at our market. This is where we sell food. That's why cholera will still be there, typhoid will still be there, mosquito will still be there to give us malaria. And so the environment has to be there to be taken care of. And that's why people still talk of having this Maigali or something like that. These are health community health experts that will go around markets, that will go around compounds, see the kind of toilet facilities that communities have, check schools whether they have some of the things. Are there schools that don't have? If there are, shouldn't government be sinking some boreholes in virtually, in fact, all primary schools, all secondary schools, to take care of things of this nature? Anything that is preventable, it should be prevented. We should not wait until cholera starts killing. And the rain season has gone, dry season is coming. Of course, many of that diseases associated, airborne, waterborne, will still land again. All in Nigeria that is fighting too many things at too many fronts at the same time.
All right, then let's take a look at this headline on the Guardian. A report blames government officials for 74% attacks on journalists. What's your take on that?
Honestly, your voice appeared to be swallowed somewhere, somehow. I didn't get it very well.
Ben. Hello, Mr. Ben, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
All right, then. Let's take a look at this headline on The Guardian. A report blames government officials for 74% attacks on journalists. What is your take on this?
Yeah, I mean, journalists are part of the endangered species. People go to work in dangerous, unsafe situations or conditions or environments, and in the end, one get injured, some get killed, some get maimed. So, who ensures them? In our own part of this of the world, Africa in general, how many journalists actually get insured? So sometimes they could be the target, sometimes they are caught in crossfire, and those who go into investigation are always a target. So when they say journalists are being killed here and there, of course you also look at the environment. They don't have enough insurance, and this is why I think the Nigerian Guild of Editors should be looking at that. Apart from that, NUJ should also be looking at that. The media houses owners should also ensure that journalists are insured, not just in Nigeria, but globally. But for the developed world, yes, many of them do get insured, especially those who have permanent jobs, not just rovers. The rovers really do not have insurance cover. So if you give insurance, yes, people can always perform under risky environments, knowing that even if they go, the family will be taken care of. But in Nigeria, you just have yourself and your conscience to either write and face the consequences, or you don't write at all so that you can live. Because if you are sent to go cover Boko Haram activities, for example, so who ensures you when one is killed in that situation? Quite a lot of things here.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Ben Shamanga, for reviewing the front pages of our national dailies.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. All right, that is all we have on a Daybreak this morning. Thank you to all that called in, to our viewers, and to our guest that was here. I am Hawa Adamikiawa. Make sure you tune in tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. so you don't miss out on engaging and interesting conversations as well. Thank you for watching.
And I am Mimuna Bagudu. As always, don't forget to follow us on all of our social media platforms and also subscribe to our YouTube channel for more news. Have a great day.